Recording yet, but at
Okay.
least I started the show. So, because yes,
Oh, we're live. I see that.
We're
yes,
live.
watching the live shows are funny. I love all the shows, but it is funny and how crazy it can be when you do
Oh yeah.
a live. So, all right, so I'm gonna start recording and then I'm gonna start my spiel. All right, here we go. All right. Well, hey everyone, it's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you're at work, in the car, wherever you are, we hope you enjoy the show. Please give it a like and subscribe so that you can get all the weekly Geocache Talk goodness. A big thanks to Steve Weeks for the music and my patrons, Doug Jones, Joshua and Caleb Slinkard, and Tom Brotherman. If you'd like to find out more, that always gets me every week when I need to reword that. If you'd like to find out more about becoming a patron, head on over to patreon.com/geocachetalk for more details. Today we have a special show with some great geocaching and podcasting ladies. Yay!
Woo!
We also have some geocaching news and our weekly product tip. So let's jump right into show number 6 for Sunday, July 17th. And I want to welcome to the show Amy Smith.
Hey, how are you?
Then you need to do it for me because I'm going to mess it up. That you're the head
Hard hattress.
hard hattress.
Yes.
It's awesome. And Andy's in the wings somewhere, so we
Yeah,
can
he's over there playing Pokemon.
we might get a wave. Yeah, we might get a wave from him later. And then from Podcasters, Sandy Portacio is with us.
Hey, it's great to be here, Gary.
Yeah, I'm glad y'all could make the show, and we worked out everything earlier. We hope so.
We hope it stays this way.
Yes, nobody touch anything. It's gonna be great. No. So we're gonna start with some geocaching news. It's sponsored by FTF Magazine. FTF Magazine can be found at ftfgeocacher.com. I found this article. It's called "Do You Know GPS Used to Be Controversial?" And there's a couple items in here that I wanted to point out that I found very interesting and a couple of things I didn't know. So in the early 70s, the idea, so long time before it actually came about, early 70s, the idea for a satellite-based modern navigational system was controversial within the United States Air Force. Many in leadership didn't want anything to do with the project that would become our now wonderful GPS system that you can play Pokemon Go on, right, Andy? They thought the money was better spent on putting more planes in the air. And then he goes on and talks about a couple different things. Almost guaranteed that it wouldn't go anywhere because it had been floundering for 4 or 5 years. And he talks about how the Air Force liked the idea kind of, but like he said, they didn't want to spend a whole lot of money on this. Some people say GPS was originally a military. This is the thing I didn't realize. A lot of people, and this is something I always say too, is, well, it was a military, because y'all probably do the same thing. When you talk to somebody about geocaching and you go maybe a little further, you talk about, started in 2000, the system was a military system and it got demilitarized, and then we were able to do, Dave Ulmer started, the whole thing. What's interesting is originally it was started out as, wasn't originally a military system, but it was, of course, eventually made into both. But originally, it was a combination. Said when I testified, this is Parkinson, the man in the article talking about. So when I testified before Congress back about 1975, I said this is a combination military-civil system. We originally thought the civils wouldn't get quite the military accuracy, but it turns out that a lot of creative people out there, and in no time at all, they got close to the military accuracy. And so once it got past that, of course, it took off from there. What's interesting is he talks about that now what they're doing is they're working mostly on making sure that it's secure, which from attacks from jamming signals. Because something I didn't really realize before reading a couple of these GPS articles is we rely a lot on time for our GPS from GPS. So a lot of systems that rely on accurate time also use the global positioning system. So I thought that was kind of an interesting other aspect, I guess, to it. So interesting article. It'll be in the show notes. And Doc Firewoman is on tonight. She says hi, y'all. So hi, Deborah.
Hi.
All right. Well, we're going to get right into the show topic, which is talking about how these wonderful ladies got involved in geocaching and podcasting. So I'll start with Amy. Amy, I've heard some of this before a little bit listening to you guys, but tell us how you first learned about geocaching.
I actually learned about geocaching through Andy because when I met him, I had absolutely no idea what geocaching was.
Okay.
So when we met, I was like, he said, "Hey, you want to go geocaching?" I said, "Hey, what's that?" I thought, great, this guy I just met wants to take me in the woods. How bad could that be?
That's right. What a great guy.
Right? Let's take
Right.
him home tomorrow, right? So yeah, so we went out geocaching, and I was like, hey, this is pretty fun. So yeah.
That's how it started. That's neat.
Yeah.
Sandy, how did you get started?
It's funny, I have the exact same story. I heard about it through Sunny. And what was funny is we were, a lot of you guys know our story, but we were set up by my brother and sister-in-law who met him first. And I was still out in Florida, and they were trying to arrange when I came out to California for us to meet. And my sister-in-law had invited him for dinner, and he said he thought that sounded awkward, so he proposed geocaching as a less awkward thing to do. And so through email or something, they told me about, he's suggesting that we go geocaching together. And I was like, what? What's that? So I did. That's when I first did a little bit of research and what is this thing called geocaching that I've never heard of before. And then, yeah, the very first time I went geocaching was our first date, which included my brother and his whole family.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. That's interesting. This is how it gets started. Is kind of crazy, but
Yeah.
Well, Sandy, I kind of already know this, but we'll talk about it anyway. Who do you normally go geocaching with?
Pretty much it's with Sunny and Sean, our team podcaster.
Yeah.
We've a lot of times taken different people, our family at different times, especially on big family gatherings, Thanksgiving, Christmas, or whatever.
Sure.
We take different parts of our family out, and our friends. We regularly take groups of friends from church and stuff. But on a regular basis, it's pretty much just the three of us. Yep.
Oh, very good. Amy, how about you?
Well, like Sandy, Sandy and I's story can mesh together so far.
Including the being drug into podcasting, right?
I normally just go with Andy. He and I normally go together because, I started out with him, so I just don't want to go by myself because he finds all the spider webs. So
Exactly. You send him in first.
Right.
First,
Oh my gosh.
I don't have to find him.
That's right. Plan worked every time. He doesn't know. Don't tell him.
It does, right? It's awesome. But yeah, I tell my mom about it, and she sends me with swag to put in geocaches. So, but yeah, she won't go because she doesn't like the woods. But yeah, so I just go with him.
Well, it's funny thinking about that is that like for me it's pretty much just Susan and I, Slinky Mama and I do this together. The boys, they will if they're with us. They'll kind of go with us, but they're not really. Well, most of them are. They're kind of growing and doing their own thing. But what's so funny though is we'll come up to one, and down here in the south, a lot of poison ivy,
Oh
and
my gosh. Yeah.
so we're like, I think it's probably about 20 feet in there, and she looks at me and goes, "Here's the pen." I'm like,
Yeah.
really? You're gonna make me? Or
Hey, will you sign that log for me?
she is a trooper though. She'll go in through the muck and all that too as well. But there's times though when it's or I'll offer as a good gentleman. I'll go ahead and grab it and I'll hand the log to you, and she says that's great. So. But anyway, that's pretty funny. So, okay. Which kind of comes into my next question. I can't believe I'm not reading my own notes. Who typically finds the cache first? You got my answer. So let's go to Amy. So who typically finds the cache first? And this is more not just in a bad location, but just in general. Who finds the cache first, mostly for you guys?
All right. Well, we actually talked about this tonight, and
To come to a consensus.
yeah, there is some debate, but we've agreed to about 50-50, or whoever gets out of the car first.
Okay.
So yeah, there are so many funny stories. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, there's been quite a few times, more often than not, that I have found the cache first, and since he's not here to debate that, then that's the story. As he coughs.
Yes. Yeah, he's there all right.
Yeah, there may be a little competition.
That is interesting. So, Sandy, what? How about for you guys? Is Sean finding him mostly now?
Well, he does find his good share, actually. And I should have asked Sonny this question as well. It would have been funny to hear his answer. He would probably say that he finds more,
Yeah.
but I don't know if that's true. It really does depend. Now, a lot of times if we're out somewhere and we're not using the smartphone and we have the GPS, I often am the one that has the GPS. So a lot of times I'm arriving to ground zero and I'm still looking at the GPS, and then Sonny's already found it, and then I get irritated. But but other times, I find it first. I don't know. I think it's a pretty even spread, which includes Sean now, because he's, unless he's too busy looking at rocks or twigs or insects or whatever, too bothered to look.
Yeah.
If he really gets into it, then he helps find him a lot. But whoever finds it, typically, they kind of got the bragging rights for a while until the next one anyway.
Right. Now, do y'all do anything? Now, down here in Texas, we do, we're with a group. We don't do it formally, just Susan and I, but if there's a group, we do Hucklebuckle. Are y'all familiar with Hucklebuckle?
Yeah, we first heard about it probably from someone in your area, and we often use that too. Or Sonny will, he'll go or something like that. Yeah, like look at me, I found it. Sean will just holler out,
Right.
I got it, there it is.
Right, but so yeah, I get in trouble once in a while because it goes, oh, it's right here, and she's like, don't tell me where it is. Just walk away and tell me you found it. Let me try to find it too. I was like, oh, okay. I'm sorry, very sorry. So the fun of geocaching with your family, but
Yeah.
Funny.
which it is wonderful. So the places that geocaching has taken us. So, well, we'll go back to Sandy. So I know there's a ton, but what comes to mind when you think of places that geocaching has taken you?
Yeah, I looked up my stats. We've cached in 11 countries and 31 states so far.
Wow.
But And so everywhere we've gone, since we've known about geocaching, we find geocaches. But I thought, I don't know that it's always geocaching that takes us there necessarily.
Hmm.
But the one place I thought it was Norway 2 summers ago, because our listener out there made it possible for us to take that trip that never would have happened without geocaching and our podcast. And
Right.
that was just an amazing trip of a lifetime
Uh,
to go to Norway.
I have heard that anywhere you go in Norway is gorgeous, pretty much gorgeous,
It's
unless you're in the middle of
beautiful.
a city. But like if
Yeah,
you're, it's just breathtaking. I really want to
it
go
was.
sometime.
And I mean, there was so much of the country we didn't even get to see. We didn't really get over to the coast where all of the beautiful um,
Like the
word that
fjords
I
and
can't, the fjords, thank you.
the fjords.
Yeah, we didn't get to that part of the country, but we were kind of more in the central and up in the mountains, and yeah, it was all just beautiful.
Still
Oh,
breathtaking
wonderful.
views.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Amy?
Um, well, I have never traveled a lot in my lifetime.
Okay.
So, and never in a million years did I think geocaching, hiking, traipsing through the woods, finding Tupperware would take me anywhere. But it has taken me through 10 states that I would never in a million years have gone.
Hmm.
It is Rome, Georgia. I didn't even know
Yeah.
Georgia had a Rome, you
Yeah.
know? Um,
Yeah.
Places like
Now,
that.
I've wanted to go to that event, and now I know it's near. It's no longer in Rome, Georgia. I think it's near Rome, Georgia now. But tell us a little bit about the experience of going there and what I'm. What is Rome, Georgia like? I mean, just kind of in general, the area.
Rome is just your typical town,
Okay.
but it's everybody there is so very friendly, and the event itself was great, and it was so much fun, very well put together, and it was just a lot of fun to go to.
Hmm. It's it is very unique. Some of those. Have y'all been there, Sandy? For you?
Yeah, for going
You went.
caching. We went
Yeah,
last year.
you went
Yeah.
last year. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was fantastic. We loved it. Yeah.
Well, I think they've kind of, and you probably experienced this. I think they've kind of outgrown where they are, so I think they're
Well,
decided they need to.
they've moved a few times, and they're actually
Okay.
going back this year to a state park that they'd done it one other time. So they've done it for a few years in Rome, and then so I think, they move it around a bit, and they might go back to Rome at some point, I'm not sure. But this
Sure.
coming year is at a state park, yeah.
Now we just got back. At least Sandy and I got back from Denver recently, and that was a wonderful trip. So I was sad that Amy, you and Andy didn't make it out there, but I know we could see y'all at 15.
Most
Uh,
definitely. I told
You know,
Andy he's made
I know.
every odd Woodstock. So I told him, I said,
that's
you're
not
just not allowed
interesting.
to go to the even ones.
That is
So,
it's so odd.
That is
Until
odd.
why, yeah.
it's so odd. Yes, exactly.
Which was his first one? He didn't start with one though, did he?
9.
9, okay.
So he even
Nine,
started on odd.
9, 11,
So,
13, 15. That's amazing.
Wow. That's great.
yeah.
That is insane. Well,
Yeah.
but going to Denver and you know it was it's whirlwind in
Yeah.
many ways, but we Sandy and I or Susan and I ran across Sunny and Sandy and Sean a couple different times, crossed paths. We saw each other. Went to Estes Park for the event
Hmm.
that you guys were sort of co-sponsored with the Geo Tour,
Right.
and then we took off after that and headed over the headed over the Continental Divide, and just enjoyed. It was kind of neat to we did geocaching, but to do it in that kind of area was just tremendous. Susan and
Really
I talk.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just neat. And we had one weird day, and I think y'all probably had something similar to this, where we didn't even find a container. We did earth caches and virtuals,
Mm-hmm.
and that was it. Because
Wow.
yeah, it was kind of a wild. I mean, I never found so many earth caches in. I mean, we found more in one day we found in 10 years of geocaching, because there's not a lot of them around us, but it's neat to be able to go to places, and be able to see so many interesting things. And sometimes we've all talked about this before. Sometimes the geocache is the incredible item. This is a great geocache. Then sometimes the geocache is nothing against Mingo. Don't let Mingo know, but
Everybody kind of knows that the
Yeah.
hide is not that exciting. It's the history.
it's the history
Yes.
of it. The container is kind of neat, though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
But sometimes it's where you go, and
Mhm.
so
It's the
I love
journey.
it is it is a lot of times it's there's really three things, like you said. There's when you stand at the cache and you go, wow, look at this view, this is unbelievable. Or you come up to like a West Virginia Tim gadget cache and you're like,
Mhm.
this cache is unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm in West Virginia, that this part of West Virginia may not be the greatest, but this cache is awesome. Or it could be like Amy said, the journey to get somewhere, might have been what the beauty was just getting to the cache. So
Right.
yeah, that is always very good. So um, let me go back to Amy. So well, let me go back to Sandy. I'm trying to keep this on my head right. Uh, your favorite geocaching experience. And so it might be a little different than what you
Favorite.
or
Yeah.
yeah. I skipped one. Go ahead and do that one, and we'll jump back one.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, my favorite geocaching experience. That was pretty tough because we've had a lot of them, but the one that kind of jumped to my mind was one we talked about on the show. It's when we went to Spokane, and then we hooked up with mountain bike and went to Idaho, and he took us to GC25. So it's the oldest cache in Idaho. It got us our June 2000 for our Jasmer, and just going with him mountain bike, because he's such a historic figure, and he was the one that hid that cache. And we also had a whole group with us. I don't know, we had 2 or 3 vehicles, jeeps driving up there together. It
Right.
was the whole experience. It was the people, some of them we had just met the day before, and then having mountain bike lead us and talk to us about what it was like, 15, at that
Mhm.
point it was 15 years in the past. And then just getting up there, and actually we had horrible weather. It wasn't like beautiful views and blue sky. It was rainy and cold.
Oh
But the
my.
weather part, that didn't really matter because it was just the experience of driving up those, that steep mountain with mountain bike, sharing about this old cache. That was a pretty awesome day.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do such a cool thing with a mountain bike, a guy who's been
Right.
around since the beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you got to hear some great, stories and tidbits of things that,
Yeah.
that's neat.
Yeah, for sure.
How about you, Amy? What are your favorite geocaching experiences, or what comes to
Well,
mind?
I'm
Hmm.
I'm like Sandy. There's just so many that come to mind, but the one that I talk about the most, I think,
Hmm.
um, when I describe geocaching to people and how cool it is an earth cache that we did one time, and it was in a place called Lizard Lick.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know, I know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
there wasn't a whole lot there. There wasn't even a parking lot, but it's a state park. So you literally pulled off on the side of the road, and there's an itty little sign there that says, "Hey, this is a state park." And you say, "Okay, whatever." And you go down a little hill, and it opens up to this granite park where there's little waterfalls and everything.
Oh, wow.
It is the most stunning place I have ever seen. We spent hours there.
Mhm.
And yeah, it was the greatest place ever. Yeah, I took tons of pictures. So,
Wow. And this kind of was, you've already sort of mentioned this, but let me jump back to a question I missed, which was, what do you like most about geocaching? And that obviously that's part of it. What are some other things that come to mind that you like most about geocaching?
well, while we were at that particular cache, we met up with two other geocachers and just had a really great time talking with them. Um, some of the people that I've met, the other geocachers, have become really, really good friends of mine and ours. Sorry.
Hmm.
And
Hey, can you remind Andy this is the geocaching women's hour? It's not.
he never said a word. Sorry.
It's okay. I'm just playing with him.
and so I mean, you've I've just made some really, really good friends, and to me, that is priceless. You can't put a price tag on that. I mean, like with Sonny, when he was sick, we were worried sick about him. We're
Oh
like
yeah.
trying to check on him, and they're like, "What do you need, Sandy?" She's like, "I don't know." It's like I don't even know what's wrong with him, you know. So you know, it's just all about family with
Oh
this. So
yeah.
that just to me, that's what geocaching is about.
Hmm. Well, what Sandy is really good in emergency situations. I can already tell you that. I panic. I turn into a puddle of goo. I really do.
Mm,
Whereas Susan, like when our son broke his arm, and I'm just like, and she's like, just do this, do this, do this.
yes.
So I was looking over at Sonny. I was like, water? He's like, no, I've already had water. And I was like, man, he does not look good. But Sandy's like right on top of it. Got this done, get this done. And then like you said about the family thing, we're there with Justin, the GC Doc and his family, and Joshua and his family. And so um, I don't know, did Justin or did you ask Justin about, because we needed Sean to be somewhere for a little while.
Right. And I was gonna give the same answer as Amy. Is one of the
Mhm.
things I like the most about geocaching is the people. I mean, both geocaching and the podcast. All the
Mhm.
people that we've gotten to know or coming in contact with that we never would have otherwise. But I have to say that this experience at Geo Woodstock, it was it was so tremendous. The outpouring of both concern and care and also offers of help was just crazy. And I think I don't really think of myself as good in an emergency, but I do think I just click into what has to be done mode,
Right.
because what else are you gonna do? It can't fall apart. But
Right.
and yeah, Memphis Mafia was there. Okay, I'll help you clean up the booth and get stuff to the car, and other people were
Yeah.
helping. But then actually, it was Laura that came over, Justin's wife, the GC Doc's wife, and because Sean, sorry, was already playing with their kids. In fact, he
Yeah.
was a little distracted. He didn't even know what was going on with Sonny. So she was the one that came over and said, I know we just met today and you don't know us very well,
I'll
but
take your
we'll take
child.
your son. She's like, I have 4 little kids, and I was like, I totally trust you. Is that the weirdest thing in the world? And they just offered, and I said, that's awesome. He was already having fun with their kids. I knew that.
Mhm.
She said we were just gonna go back to the hotel and swim, and we'll take him to get some food, and it was just great. But just the outpouring of other people. Like Amy and Andy from all the way across the country, how can we help? What's going on? And many people that offered. It was just awesome.
It's wonderful. So, and like you said, it's just that's part of it. It's like you
Hmm.
said, it's kind of like we had just met some different, some people, and you feel connected, and it's really
Hmm.
neat. Um, so
The
I'll s-
other, if I could have
mhm.
more than one thing, the other
Yeah.
thing I
No,
would
go
say I
ahead.
like
Oh yeah,
about
absolutely.
geocaching is anything unexpected. like whether
Mm-hmm.
it's like Amy was saying, a location that is unexpected, not what you thought would be there,
Mm-hmm.
or a cache. Like of course stuff like WDB Tim's is just
Right.
Yeah.
out of the park, but
Right.
even something. I mean, we found one recently that it was just different enough. That it wasn't. We thought it was under the bushes or under the rocks or something, and it wasn't. It was this clever hide. We just found it, so I better not say what it was. But it was in Santa Barbara by the Mission, and it was just one of those things where you go, "Oh, that's great. I wouldn't have thought of that." So even something small, but if
Mm-hmm.
if it's if it's unexpected and it kind of brings a smile to your face, those are the kind of moments I like.
But
Yeah.
good unexpected, not like rattlesnake unexpected.
Yeah, that would
Exactly.
be
No,
bad. Yeah,
I don't
that
like
would be very
snakes.
bad. See, and
No.
that reminds me of a cache that I found first.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
tell
I
us.
know. See, that's a positive memory. Oh.
That's the like you said about the snakes. That's um, what was so funny about that too. I'm going to digress for a moment, but was Sonny's like wanting to take photos because that's
Oh
Sonny.
yeah. Yes.
He's a
He's
and
a
you're probably
photo.
like, okay, we've got enough photos. You're close enough to the snake. We don't need to. We're done.
Let's get out of here. Yeah.
We don't have to do no more photos of the snake. We're done. So
Yeah.
thanks. But yeah, there's and things about when we talk about that is that things about geocaching is and we've I've heard from many people it's not necessarily the container. Well, I have a container on here. It's not necessarily the container.
Mm.
It's the adventure of either getting there. It's the adventure of the people you're with. There's so many other pieces to it. The adventure of just finding it, regardless of what it is, just the fact that you found it to me is still. I mean, I still get excited about. Don't tell Sunny, but I get excited once in a while when
LPCs.
I find an LPC. I'm like,
I won't tell him you said that.
don't tell him. Do not let him listen to this show. He's not allowed to listen. But it's because a lot of times when we get to those, I'm with Susan, and so she's telling me. So I'm driving through the parking lot. She goes 200, 150, 180. Oh nope, nope, wrong. Nope, that's not that one. So turn around. It's like, all right, I'm not going to assume.
Oh my gosh.
Can't make the assumptions anymore of where this thing is. I'll listen to you, honey. So I turn and go back that way. So, and that's part of the fun is just the two of us together,
Yeah.
laughing and joking and all that good stuff. So,
That's the important part.
yes. Well, let me do a little bit of the Q&A, and then we're going to jump into something. And I'm going to let Amy actually talk about something. I'll let you talk about it a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Hang on.
All right.
Doc Farman said we talked earlier about the GPS. She said she just talked about the time dependence at planetarium training this week. So good.
That's
Way to
cool.
go.
Cool.
Way to go, Deborah. Deborah, we got to spend time with Deborah also out at Denver and got to go to her birthday party and
Yay.
just hang out. Yeah, so we had a lot of fun with her and Tom. And Tom is Deborah, letting you know, Tom, that's a wonderful man. Just saying. I approve like you need my approval, but I approve wholeheartedly of Tom. He's a wonderful guy. And so let's see. So Electric Water Boy's on here, and Tom Brotherman. He's a great guy. Love Tom. And so he mentioned stuff about Earth Cache that he got to do in Nevada, called the Bowl. So Tom's down to Alaska and Hawaii. That's
Nice.
a lot of. That's pretty nice.
That's
That is
great. Yeah.
Toying with the idea of Alaska next summer.
Cool.
And that's some travel right there because you you said you've done geocaching in 31 states, right,
We've done
Sandy?
31, yeah. So we
31.
still got a lot to do, 19 to
Okay.
do. Yeah.
Yeah. It's and you like you saying before geocaching because I used to travel for work, and so I've been to so many states, but no
Oh, I've been
geocaches.
to all the states, I think. But I think we could get a big chunk. We don't have, well, I think we got Maine. There's a big chunk up in the Northeast that we could do all
Mhm.
at once with a trip up
Oh,
there.
Yeah, the
right.
little states up there, you could just drive
Yeah.
that a whole day.
Yeah.
You could knock them all out. Well, there's probably a challenge for that, you know. Yeah.
Probably.
Probably.
I did 10 states today. 10? Like Nevada, Idaho? No, no, no. No, we did
Yeah.
Maine, Rhode
Rhode
Island,
Island.
Connecticut,
Yeah.
Delaware. Yeah. Um, so let's see. I think we're caught up. Oh, yeah. Um, Tom. So Electric Water Boy's like, thanks, Gary. He goes, oh, the other Tom. Yeah,
Yeah.
not you. Not you.
But you're great
Tom,
too, Tom.
you are great too. But I was talking about the
Deborah's
Doc
Tom.
Firewind boyfriend. Yes. So all right. So we're caught up on Q&A. So oh gosh, no, we did. We had a wonderful time, and with Sydney too, Sydney Sawyer and her
Yeah.
boyfriend, and there's a commitment. She drove from New York all the way to Denver. Not
That's a
one
long
day, but
haul.
that's a long haul. But she did a lot of cool geocaches along the way, and like I said, I don't think I'm young enough. They're young, you know.
Hmm.
I think I'm good for about 6 hours, and then it's like, I'm done driving. Uh,
Yep.
so, all right, Amy,
Yes.
when you're not geocaching, what are you up to?
All right. Well, most of the time I'm working. So
Okay,
boring as
that's
that
good.
is.
Yeah, tell me about other things before you talk about the thing. Tell us
The
about some
thing?
other things.
Okay. All right.
Tell us about other things that you do. 'Cause-
Okay.
What did you do before like a week and a half ago?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Fair enough. Okay, before a week and a half ago, I actually like to do crafty things.
Very cool.
Yeah. I do. I taught myself how to knit by watching
Nice.
YouTube.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, I've cross stitched, and I'm a man, and I'll admit that I cross stitch, but I don't do it
That's
very much
great.
often. But
good for
to
you.
knit, yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
To knit though,
Yeah. It's not as hard as it
that's
looks, really.
okay.
Yeah, it really is not. I mean, truly, if I can do it, anybody can. I'll teach you next time I see you.
Yes,
Um,
bring some yarn and the little hook thing.
Next year at
no,
Geowoodstock.
that's crochet.
We'll make a pot holder.
Yeah, that's crochet. If the little hook thing.
Oh, that's crochet. Yes.
Yes.
So
The
tell me.
needle's
Needles.
different.
Knitting
You got the
needles.
needles. Yes.
Oh, then okay. I got straight in my head now. So that's a whole different deal.
That's a whole different deal, man.
Okay. I've seen
Yeah.
crochet. I might be able to handle crochet, but I don't think I can knit.
Yeah.
Knit
Knitting
one,
is.
purl two, something.
Yeah.
Knit
Yes.
one.
Yeah, that's it. That's knitting. Yep.
Okay.
I also
What
do
else?
what's called tatting.
Oh.
Tatting. Is that cloth? Is it making?
Making lace. It's an old
Oh.
way of making lace, and they did it back in the 1800s, I think.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, and the women, my understanding from my research, they used to pass it down to, you know, to their daughters and that type of thing. And my great aunt, she used to do it. And she, when I was a teenager and knew everything in the world and could have cared less, taught me how to do it, and I didn't want to do it, and I was a natural at it. And my mother about had a stroke because she wanted to do it and couldn't because she didn't have the patience. So now I've retaught myself via YouTube how to tat again, needle tat.
Cool.
So yeah, so I do that and I cross stitch. So yeah,
Yeah, that's awesome. And then,
before we can have to go.
all right. So, what else
Yeah,
are you doing?
friends,
What
you don't
else
have
are
to
you
do it.
doing
You don't
lately?
have to do it.
Go ahead. Go
You don't
ahead.
have to.
No, no. What level are you on? Go ahead.
That's the question. What
Yeah.
level?
What level?
I'm on. What level are you on? 15? I'm on 16. Okay, so I'm on
Oh,
14.
Wow.
now you know that you have a task. Everyone just made this up, but you didn't hear me say this. Every guest has to always is always tasked. I give a task every week to my guests, and so your task is you need to be at level whatever Andy plus one tonight. So if he's on,
Andy plus 1. So
which means whatever, yeah,
he's on 16.
so you need to be on 17.
Okay.
Can you do
I'm
it?
all for beating Andy. I'm just saying. Rush to your nearest Pokestop.
Well,
Catch all of them. Fight in your gym.
well, what was funny was just the other night when you were
Oh,
ahead of him, and it was just fun listening to him. So uh, now you said on that show
yeah.
that you're gonna get bored with it and quit. Do you still believe you're gonna get bored with it and quit?
Eventually, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But right now
Right now, I'm still having fun with it. Yeah.
it's the little shiny object that you can play with.
Yeah. It's the
Oh.
little ball of yarn that the cat's biting around. Yeah.
Now the trick is the thing I'd like to know, since we can talk about the other guys tonight, is will he get tired of it and give up?
No. Mm-mm.
He's committed.
He is committed.
Hmm.
He is a
Now,
gamer at heart, man. I'm here to tell you.
but I don't think Andy did much Ingress, did he, before?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Did he? Okay, I didn't know
Oh yeah,
that.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess I
Yeah.
wasn't paying attention to. Okay,
Yeah. He's an Ingresser.
okay, really good. Well, Sandy, what are you doing when you're not geocaching other than taking
I
care of?
don't do Pokemon Go. No.
I'm shocked,
Haven't
Sandy.
got into that.
I, yeah, I don't either. I'm at zero. I've never
Yeah.
opened it up. But go ahead. So,
Um,
so
it's interesting. The stuff there's a lot of things I can say I used to do. Like I used to cross stitch,
right.
and I used to do scrapbooking, and there just doesn't seem to be time for that anymore. So
You have
Mhm.
a child
other
now.
than other than
Yes.
taking care of my husband and my child,
Right.
and doing it is summertime now, but during the school year, I do partial homeschooling. So 3 days a week
Sure.
I homeschool
Mhm.
Sean, and then 2 days a week he's in a traditional classroom. And between that and Podcasher, all the stuff I do for Podcasher, there's not a whole lot of time left.
Yeah.
But we do, I mean, all of us like outdoor stuff. I mean, I think even without geocaching, we'd be outside, biking or hiking or going to the beach or riding our scooters or whatever. We all enjoy that. I enjoy, just doing that with the family.
Do either one of y'all read much or?
Yeah, I love to read too, but again, that's not something I've done as much.
Lately, yeah.
But I've read recently. Some of the ones I've read have been Russ Atkinson's books,
Mhm.
the novels that have geocaching in them, and I've enjoyed those. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
I used to read a lot before I went back to school,
Mhm.
and since I went back to school, I have not touched a book since I graduated, except for one that was geocaching related, which was really good. So
Yeah.
Yeah. Susan, Slinky Mama, she reads a lot.
Mhm.
I don't know. I have the. I was never a big reader before. I listened to a lot of. I used to listen to a lot of books when I would
Oh, okay.
drive back and forth to work. I work from home a lot now, but it's interesting. Just some things do change. I mean, y'all. So we've been geocaching 10 years. Sandy, how long have y'all been?
Well, Sunny goes back to the fall of 2002,
Okay.
and then when we met in 2004 was when I started, so about 12 years.
Okay. Right.
Yeah.
And then Amy, how long do you think that?
well, Andy goes back to '09, I believe.
Mhm.
8.
Okay.
And,
There you go.
and I started in 2012 when we met.
Okay, right. Yeah,
So, yeah.
which is a great story. It's a great geocaching love story. But it's interesting that and I don't think there's we've all my hobbies I guess sort of evolved over time, and but it's interesting with Susan and I is that and our geocaching is sort of well, ours kind of waned a little bit, just more, and we always talk about how life gets in the. For us, life got in the way, and we didn't really geocache a lot. We were taking care of her dad, but it's one thing. Is it's interesting talking about this Pokemon Go thing, in that for me, for us, geocaching, we've geocached every year for 10 years, even though some years have been leaner than others.
Mhm.
But what I find fascinating is y'all doing podcasting and geocaching, because I think well, I know a lot of people don't, I think, realize the amount of time and effort it takes week in and week out just to get ready for a podcast, and then to to take care of all that, and then also be able to get out and do something that we hopefully still love, and just to do for fun. But
Yeah, that's really true. I think a lot of podcasters don't geocache as much as the general public, just
mhm,
because of the lack of time. Yeah.
yeah, but I still think it's neat that y'all have done that for so long, and it just I've enjoyed y'all's shows for so long, both of y'all. That it's just wonderful just to be here and talking to you guys, because it really does. And I think Sandy and I actually talked about this briefly in Denver, but you know, there's so many people that you touch you kind of one way interact with people,
Hmm.
that is neat to have people. I even had a couple. It's like I've been, of course, I was on Cash and Release for a year, but still, the new show. I didn't know if I'd find anybody that, you know. So, so it was really cool. I'm next to Sunny and Sandy on one table. They're next to me on my left, and then Joshua is to my right, and then we kind of snuck Justin in. Justin didn't have a table, but I let him have some of my table. We sold some of his coins, which, by the way, I'm going to mention on the show, because they're a great family. But here's one of their coins. I'm
Oh,
showing it.
cool.
Yeah. So there's his logo, and it's just it's a neat coin. But anyway, if you would like one, make sure and email Justin, and I'll have his email address in the show notes because I forgot to grab it. But I think it's. I'll look it up in a second when we're talking about some other things. But anyway, email him and he will get you hooked up with one of these really cool coins. And he sold some of these. He's selling these coins was part of his help to get the whole family out to Geo Woodstock, which I thought was wonderful to see. Joshua and his whole family comes out.
Hmm.
Justin's whole family comes out. Sonny, Sandy, Sean are out there. Dan, geocaching with Derek, his whole
Hmm.
family's out there. And as I mentioned before, we had the little party, and it was just wonderful. Huge, though. We had like 25, 30 people there, which was neat to have that massive group, but it was a lot of fun. But anyway, so I'm going to look up his address. While I'm doing that, let me go over to Amy and tell me what is next for you guys in the realm of podcasts and vlogging and periscoping and not doing other games.
No, man, I am done downloading games. This is all I can handle. Oh my
And then
gosh, I can't even keep
it's
up with what I got.
and then soon you're going to be done with that eventually at some point.
Right, right, because I'll get bored. It's like squirrel, something else. Um, you know, podcasting. I got to tell you. people think it's crazy when I tell them that when I show up, that's when I find out what the topic is, but it is absolutely true. It truly is.
Well,
He,
y'all have an interesting show, and it's like the,
that is a beautiful way to put that,
you
Gary.
have a very, very unique show that is wonderful. It is, but it's different.
It is different, I gotta tell you. And
But it's
hopefully it entertains at least one human being out there besides me.
you're entertaining Susan. I
Oh,
told you.
that is awesome. I am happy she is entertained. I'm
I
glad she.
I have to say that is impressive if you can just like wing it and go with the flow without knowing ahead of time. That's amazing.
Yeah, I truly don't. People say, "You really don't know, do you?" I say, "Nope." I just say, "Hey, what are we talking about?" All right,
Which
do it.
which is very different. Not better, but different than
It's not
Podcatcher.
worse either.
Yes.
No, it's not. It's not at
No,
all.
it's
But
different than
It's
what
just
Sandy and
different.
Sunny do.
We were talking.
oh,
Was this is before we went live when you guys said, "Oh, you should do a live show," and I said, "I don't think so."
Oh no!
See, I'm too much of a like control freak, I guess. I need to know what we're going to talk about and have that controlled
Yeah.
environment. Yeah.
See, and Gary, it's funny because I looked at these questions about, I don't know. I looked at them during the week,
right.
but I
Oh,
looked
that's
at them
good.
about 30 minutes before the show. And I thought,
Well,
huh, what
But
is
hey,
that?
you looked at them.
I did. Hey, I looked at
That's
him and I was
good.
really proud of that, actually. I got to tell you. And
I-
the vlogging and periscoping reminded me of Sonny taking pictures because Andy Smith will videotape the world.
I like you pointing at him. Andy Smith,
Yeah, I'm
wherever
sorry.
he
He's
is
over
right
there, so
now.
I'm like
I
talking with my
know.
hands anyway.
I know.
So
I think it's funny though because you're like that
Andy
guy.
Smith, yeah, I know. He's over there still playing, but um, he does. He videotapes everything because
Interesting. He videotapes, but doesn't take a lot of photos.
he does take photos, but he takes tons. He takes a lot of video. He does a lot of vlogging and periscoping.
Right.
And I'm taking pictures of leaves and bugs and birds and stuff like that.
Oh, that's Susan.
So
That's
yeah,
Susan.
me and Susan are a lot alike with that because I take pictures of
Yes.
everything.
My camera is full of pictures from Gia Woodstock when she runs out of power and she's like, "Well, we're at the Botanic Gardens," and I go, "Uh-huh," and she goes, you're going to need to let me borrow your camera," and um, so I've got all these photos. Oh, and Susan's having trouble with Q&A, so she wanted me to ask how Sunny is feeling. And so, isn't that nice? She's asking about Sunny.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
So he's supposed to go in again for.
He's got another test on Wednesday, an ultrasound that we've been
Right.
waiting for, but all other tests have not shown anything, and he hasn't had any more episodes of the extreme pain, which is a good thing, but we're still a little bit in the dark about what happened. So,
Right. Okay.
yeah.
So let me. Okay. So let me get back to the. Sorry, squirrel. I'm kind of like a squirrel, Amy. I do
Right.
the same thing. But here's the photo. I can see. So there's a photo.
Oh,
Camera. Oh, dang it! You know how to do that. I don't want to bump. So flower, flower, flowers.
those are pretty.
She found
They're
these.
pretty.
Yeah, I took that. It's on my camera. But no, she took all these. But she liked these particular flowers because in down where we are, I know which one it is. She'll tell me later. So God, silly, you know what these are. But they were white in Colorado. They're not white in so there are. It's all these flowers, just over and over. So if we're out somewhere, and nowadays I try to do a little bit of videotape. I don't do a lot of vlogging. I'm just trying to do a little bit. So I'm over to doing a little. I'm trying to figure the whole thing out. So I'm doing a little bit of videotaping, and she's over there, and she's bent over. I can't really show her because she's bent over taking pictures of flowers. There she is. But Okay, and then we're off on a tangent, but Sandy, you'll like this. So I don't know if you'll be able to see this. This is Terriol,
Oh
which
yeah, we
we got
found
to
that
go
too. Yeah.
right, and I think you guys found it before us because here's what. Let's see if I can get it to. Do you see those?
I can't. Oh, the podcaster cards. Very
Yes.
cool. So we did find it before you.
So
Cool.
I put them back, but I did take them out and take a photo.
Okay. Awesome.
So Amy, I know I'm spoiling this geocache. It's really
funny.
exciting.
Yeah, big orange bucket, really hard to find. They don't even pretend to hide it. It's just like some
It's a
sticks
Home
on
Depot
top of it.
bucket. There's some, yeah. You sort of put some sticks on top, but yeah,
That's
T-
funny.
Terriol.
Yeah.
That's the oldest in Colorado,
Mhm.
and
That was cool.
yeah, that's neat. So all right, so enough of my side thing there. Okay, okay, Justin. Let me mention real quick. His email is thegcdoc@gmail.com. So
Cool.
took care of that.
Very
Just
cool.
GC Doc. So very cool for him for that. Yeah. And Maya and we sold some coins, and it was a lot of fun to watch her. It was fun interacting with Sean and Maya and all the geocaching kids. But she was fun to talk to, and Susan had fun kind of interact with her. And then Sean. So I have to tell this real quick, and then we'll get back. We'll
Yeah, Sean.
start to wrap up. So Sean. So Sandy and Sunny, they go off to do something, and so Sandy actually is one. I think turns to me and goes, "Coins are 20, coloring books are 10. You and Sean take over." So okay, so they leave to do their thing. It's kind of really early, so the hadn't really gotten going. So I had a really good time talking with Sean because it was just kind of the two of us there for a while, and so
Mhm.
we really did. He is a wonderful boy, and we loved. A lot of energy.
Yes.
A lot of energy.
Lots of energy.
Because,
And an extrovert. He likes to talk.
yes. So we did. We talked a lot, and he was asking me a lot of different questions about things. And there was I'm going to get him in trouble, but don't. He didn't really get in any trouble. But
Okay.
they left a cart there, which had a bunch of the chairs on it. Well, the cart was now empty, and it has wheels.
Oh, Lord.
It has a handle.
I can
Some
see it
bad
coming
things
now.
happening.
Yes. So
That's great.
Sean's up on it, and he's goofing around a little bit, and then he kind of turned it one time a little awkwardly, and I go, and my fatherly, I have 3 boys, so I kicked in and I go, I just met Sean. I go, Sean? I said, that's probably not the smartest thing to do. And he goes, okay. So he got off.
Oh, good. I'm glad that he listened.
He did. Listen to a complete stranger. At least, I guess I'm looking older and fatherly, and I was standing there, so
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, no, he was wonderful. So, all right. Anything else that you guys want to mention? The shows you want to mention the different shows you're on real quick?
Just Podcaster. That's podcaster.com. We just our show for this week isn't out yet. Sonny's still got to finish editing it when he gets back from church tonight. But it's a show about Geo Woodstock 14, and we talked for 20 or 25 minutes about Pokemon Go.
Yes!
So yes.
No.
As it relates to geocaching. Okay.
Good for you guys.
So we could have done a whole show by itself. So after we put everything together, it's going to be like an hour and 15 minutes. It's going to be like one of your guys' live shows, 'cause it just goes on and on. Anyway,
About
so
nothing.
that's coming out later tonight.
Oh my goodness. No way.
Yep.
I can't believe
Fantastic.
you are corrupted. My favorite show. Sorry, Amy. My favorite show has been corrupted. All right.
Yeah.
So Amy, talk about your new Pokemon podcast you're doing.
You know what? It's funny you say that because I actually had somebody ask me if I was going to do a podcast on
Oh,
Pokemon.
there you
You,
go.
I'm
you
like,
know,
really?
if you
Yeah.
started one, seriously, if you started one, you would have like 30,000 subscribers and watchers. I
Yep.
mean,
Oh,
Just
I
like
have
that.
no doubt in my mind whatsoever. I just no, no.
you
I'm
can't.
sure there's some out there already. Who
Oh,
knows how many?
Oh
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they tell you how to get to each level. No, thank you. I'm not
Yeah.
that good. I just want to catch them. That's all I want to do, really. Um,
So, Geo Snippets Reboot Podcast
yes, sir. Thursday
is
nights,
Thursday
8 o'clock
nights.
starts the madness ish, depending on our technical difficulties. Um,
Is that the
we
pre-show at 8, or is the
Yes, the
pre-show at
pre-show starts at 8. The show
8?
starts
Okay.
at 8:30.
Okay. Um,
Eastern
Geos
time.
Eastern Time.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, that's good. Thank you for pointing that out, Sandy, because
Mhm.
we're
I
on.
assume everybody's on Eastern time because I am. So.
Sorry. Yeah. After doing cash release and Michael and I going, what time? 9? What? 9? I'm in Central. You're in Eastern. You need. So eventually I got to where I'm typing in, Central Daylight Time. So
Yeah.
but um, geosnippetsreboot.com.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And then Andy has his other show we're not going to talk about because this is the Women's Hour.
Right.
So if he
And
wants
that
to do
doesn't count
that,
tonight.
then he can be on some other day,
Yes.
sometime in the
And he
future.
can talk about that other one that nobody listens to.
I do want to mention, yeah, nobody listens to that one.
Nobody listens to that one.
Geo Snippets is the where it's at.
As Jesse's going, really?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's the thing I want to do. Mention we were going to have on Jessie. Shorty Knits was going to be on, and we had her all lined up. But her son's playing in a baseball tournament, and so she told me earlier in the week they had a rain out, and she goes, "Guess what? They've moved the game to Sunday at 7." I'm like, I understand. So
Family
we'll
comes first, man.
it does. So we'll have her on again sometime. But it was I was just glad. It's funny. We had sort of planned to do the show about 3 or 4 times, and so yay! I'm glad we got it done.
We did it.
Yay. Woo! So we'll do it again sometime, and we'll have her on. And but I really I'm actually going to skip the product review for tonight. Don't really have time. Product reviews of the week are sponsored by Cashly. Cashly is the foremost geocaching app. It can be found at cach.ly. And thank you to Nick. I got to meet Nick out in GeoWoodstock. Had a great little talk with him. So just a wonderful app. So I really appreciate him. But we don't have any time tonight to talk about that. Well, let me tell you about what's coming up soon. And then we'll do a little wrap up, and then I'll end the show. So coming up next week for show number 7, I have on Chris Ronan, Rock Chalk, which we all know who he is, and we're going to talk about Project Ape, the Project Ape cache trip that he just went on recently in June to Brazil, and so that. Will be a good show, and I know it will be a good show because we already did it.
There you go.
Pre-recorded.
Don't you love those pre-recorded
I know.
things? Yeah.
I love it. I got a free Sunday. So actually, works out great because I'm taking Susan to the airport. She's headed your way, Amy. She's headed to Baltimore.
Yay!
Kind of your
Baltimore's a
direction.
nice area.
Yeah, she's going to visit her sister for a week, and we don't normally geocache separately, but she is going to go up and try to grab a Pennsylvania cache just for the fun of it. I said, go for it. We're not that picky about that. So, week after that, June 31st, I'm having on a 6-year-old, and then Johnny Pugach is going to be on the show.
Nice.
Talk about geocaching, and I guess I'll have Dano on too. I guess.
Yeah, might as well.
At least have him run the board for Johnny.
That's probably smart.
Yeah. So special time for that week on July 31st. It'll be at 6 p.m. because Johnny has a bedtime, and we have to keep track of that. So we can't have him out too late doing podcasting. So, and then the week after that, August 7th, be show number 9. Wow, I'm starting to rack them up now, aren't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yay. is going to be with Geocaching Katie. I don't know if y'all are familiar with her. She's a vlogger and a neat lady, young lady. Her and I are going to talk about geocaching and fitness.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's going to be fun. And try to catch her videos sometime. She's got some really good videos. She is great in front of a camera, and she is great doing the whole thing, which is not always easy to do. And I really envy Justin and Joshua and the people that can pull those off because that ain't easy to do completely, people.
No, it's
So,
not.
checking checking the show, the live real quick. A lot of great comments. Thank you, Electric Water Boy and Deborah for being on the live. It's always wonderful to have people do that. And then thank you so much to those that listen each week. That I get feedback. Either watch the show later when they can, or listen on iTunes. So I want to thank you, ladies, for being on. I've really enjoyed spending some time with you guys. So it was been fun tonight.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was great to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you bet. It was a lot of fun. So well, that's going to do it for this week's show. Again, I hope everyone enjoyed it. And if you did, email me at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at geocachetalk and Facebook at facebook.com/geocachetalk. This show can be found on iTunes and Stitcher, as well as the Geocache Talk website. Tell your friends about the show. Ask them to subscribe so they too can hear the show on a weekly basis. Until next week, don't just talk about geocaching. Go geocaching. Good night, everyone. All right, I stopped the audio, so now I will stop the video. So all the video watchers, bye.
Bye.
We're stopping the broadcast. Thank you again for being on the show or watching. Bye.